coaching creates a comfortable space to get super uncomfortable.
I love it.
Yeah. Because you're going to deal with stuff that you don't want to deal with. Just wait till you have a job. Why? Just wait. When you show up because you're paid, no one's there going, oh, Mary, it is just so amazing that you are here today. Coaching is taking someone from a stable place to a better place, a better version of you. And at the end of it, you look at me and say, wow, that was amazing. How did you know I needed to go there? And I say, I didn't. I asked you a question. Quite honestly, I expected you to go like this, and you went,
All right. So, welcome back to Raise Your Connection. I think this is episode 7, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
Is 7 a lucky number for you? Or
7's
like
a great number.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, lucky number 7.
Okay.
I have with me today Jim Heid. Thank you for coming aboard.
You bet.
Good deal. So, funny story about how I met Jim. I met him through, we were just talking about it, I met him through FaceTime because he was at a networking event with Kim Keys and my wife Dominica.
Yep.
And you guys FaceTimed me. And
yeah. I blew her mind. I was talking about some neuroscience stuff.
Yeah.
And blew her mind. And at least in the video, it looks like I almost caught fire, but I don't know. We were behind, we were in the back of.
That's right. That fire pit was over there.
Little fire pit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or Poor Choices. Yeah.
That's what it's called. Poor Choices. Yeah. I love that name. I found that on Facebook, and they had an ad, and I reached out to them. I just said, hey, I'm a life and leadership coach. I help people make better choices. I want to have an event called Making Better Life Choices at Poor Choices. I love it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, since you just brought it up, I want to read off some stuff, because you're on your website. So there was some stuff that there was a particular thing that made me laugh.
Okay.
And I wanted to read it.
Sure.
But so the name of your business, we say business, but you're a coach.
Yeah.
It's Repurposement Coaching.
Yep.
Right. So, and we'll dive into what you mean by that. The thing that made me laugh, where was it? It was, I don't see it right here, but you said you delivered 1,000 babies.
Yes.
I just thought that was funny.
And it's funny because one of the speakers coming up soon here in some of the networking events and possibly at ThriveCon is going to talk about imposter syndrome, how we don't fit in, blah, blah, blah. And I really struggled with how to lean into my experience as a family doc and how that meant anything to my coaching business. Cerebrally, it was 2 totally different things. And people are like, come on. I mean, what do you do as a family doc? Well, I walk people through giving birth, getting pregnant, giving birth, all the horrible and wonderful things that happen through life, and then end of life decisions. So yeah, I'm kind of coaching people through health. I've chosen in my coaching business not to do health coaching, but really to focus more on how to really thrive as a person. But yeah, I delivered 1,000 babies, and I always would joke with my patients. I'd say, look, I can almost guarantee, and this is, during the prenatal visits, I would just say, I can almost guarantee that at some point during labor, you're going to say some version of this. I don't think I can do this. And I'm not being mean, but I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, look, there's 6 people in this room, and you are literally
the only person who can do this. None of us.
There you go.
None of the rest of us can.
Them's the breaks.
You got, and you can do this.
Yeah.
You got to do it, and you can. Let's get her done.
So, we're on this subject. I was going to bring up that you were a doctor as well, and you did that. And we can dive into everything.
Oh, sure.
But I kind of, so the natural births, did you ever deal with that?
Oh, yeah. Those are the, okay, I'm a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have no
Yeah, we don't
clue.
know.
I have no clue what giving birth is like, but being in the room for a natural childbirth that was a gift given to me by many patients. And it's a gift because you watch a woman go from pain and fear, love, joy, and the pain and fear is gone as if it was 100 years ago in a millisecond. As soon as the baby is out, the pain and fear is gone, the love and joy.
Whoa.
And to hear women go, can't wait to do this again.
Whoa.
Okay, I've never been on that side, but just I always felt blessed to be in that room, and as a coach, I can't do it. I can help you do it.
Right.
And that was really my role at delivering babies and helping people through lots of different stages of life and decision making.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really, what kind of got me into coaching is I call them the crusty older men. I won't call them old men, but,
Can we say curmudgeons?
Yeah. I can't wait to retire. Hate my job. I'm just putting in the days. Okay. You care for them. And a decade later, they've retired and man, this retirement sucks. I miss my job. I'm and as a doctor, I couldn't say this, but I would be mentally, I'd be going, you didn't hate your job. You thought you did. You don't hate retirement. You think you do. You know what you hate? That's what
Absolutely.
you hate, because that's what was there in the job.
Yeah, that was what was left.
That's what's there in retirement.
That's
so I work with people to help them get to know themselves, where their giftings are, love those, be passionate about them. And then whether you're working for pay or volunteering or sitting on the beach drinking Mai Tais, if that fulfills your passion and uses your natural giftings, you're going to have fun. So that's why it's repurposement, bringing purpose to a life that's lacking purpose.
Yeah, you're reigniting purpose.
Yep, reigniting that fire.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can relate to that story about the guys when they retire, they don't like life anymore.
Yeah.
Because I had a buddy I worked with, Pappy. If you ever see this, he was an older guy named Pappy, or we called him Pappy.
Yeah.
And he retired, and I was real close with him, so I would call him and, how you doing, Pappy? How you holding up? Oh, Marcus, I don't like it. I'm so damn bored.
Right.
This retirement, it's for the birds. I got to find something to do. Yeah. So
I had a neighbor in California. He was probably my age or younger, but he did physical work. He did heavy equipment mechanics. He had this big truck with all this stuff. And I remember, I was much younger, and I guess I said, so, what do you think about retirement? He's like, I'm never retiring. Everyone I know that's retired either got cancer or died. I'm like, okay, there you go. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, when you get, so maybe you can speak on this. Is it kind of when that happens to people, like if they, I don't want to say die, but when they get older and they're not really doing anything, like tending their garden, or some activity that kind of keeps them going every day, the dementia maybe comes in, or, they get sick.
Yeah. They lose the will to live. And I know people like that. I also know people, I have friends that are doctors and different things that when they retire, they're on boards, they're running nonprofits, they're doing this, that, and the other. They are, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that say some version of, I am so busy now, I can't
fathom how I found the time to work.
Mm-hmm. That's
Like,
crazy. That's crazy.
So you're not getting paid, but you're working. You're busier now than you were when you were working for pay. Yep.
And they love it.
And they love it. And yeah.
So isn't that a lot of pressure on you as a coach, to put yourself out there and say, I'm going to help you figure out how, like you said, to love you, and to love living your life without having a job. And I don't know, I feel that sounds like a lot of pressure.
You know, it is and it isn't. I'm discovering, when I was early on coaching, I think I didn't expect much of myself because I'm new and I'm early, and I was doing better coaching. And then the more I learned and the more kind of pressure I put on myself, I was doing, I don't like my coaching. And I think the reality is coaching is not work if the client shows up. All I got to do is, it's not hard work. It's work that it's type of stuff you have to work at doing, like shutting up, listening, and then just being curious. And so, you sometimes you get so worried about, I gotta come up with the question that's going to nail this client and really, open them up. And when I focus on finding the question, session just goes.
Yeah.
When I just listen and it's like, really? Okay. So, wow, that's fast. So say more about this. And, and my favorite sessions are, as the coach, you're not in charge of where the client is going, and you're not even supposed to really even think about where they're going, but we're human. It's like, okay, Marcus, you're going here. We're going here, and I ask a question, and all of a sudden you make the sharp right.
Yeah.
And you go up a huge hill and down on the other side. And at the end of it, you look at me and say, wow, that was amazing. How did you know I needed to go there? And I say, I didn't. I asked you a question. Quite honestly, I expected you to go like this, and you went, had no clue.
Yeah.
But the other, and I'll tell patients or clients that, it's like, I don't know where you're going to go. And that's the fun of it. The other is, there's a good chance if we work for a while, something's going to happen kind of like this. You say something, and then I ask a question and follow up of that. And you say something like, that's exactly where I didn't want to go today. And I'm going to say, okay, but do we need to go there today? I've yet to have a client say no. Almost always they say, yeah. Okay, so this first 20 minutes was just getting the skin off the onion. Now we're getting somewhere. And that's when they're like, okay, yeah, that's where we need to go. Okay.
It sounds like you're giving them a safe space, so to speak.
Sure. I heard someone describe, I think it was on a coaching podcast. I don't know. What I hear, I often reword in my own brain. So when I say something to someone else who listened to the same podcast, they're like, I didn't hear that. Okay. What I heard was coaching creates a comfortable space to get super uncomfortable. I
love it.
Yeah. Because you're going to deal with stuff that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, but isn't that the nature of life too?
Yes.
So it's almost like a little life bubble, right? Like, I don't know, for lack of a better way to put it.
I mean, it's like, okay, so let's keep sweeping that stuff under the carpet. Why do I keep tripping every time I go into the living room? Because the pile of stuff between the kitchen and the living room that you keep sweeping out of the kitchen under the carpet, that's what keeps tripping you. Well, I just don't want to trip on it. Well, can we pull up the carpet? No. Okay. So you don't want coaching. All right.
Bada bing, bada boom. It's that simple.
Or we can pull back the carpet, look at this stuff, and
getting rid of stuff. That's,
Clean house.
Clean.
Spring cleaning,
or, or just like downsizing.
Downsizing. So is there this is interesting to me to think about. Is there a specific part of the year? Because everything is like in cycles, right?
Yeah. That
more people are reaching out to you, or you know what I mean? Like
right.
That they want to do this.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster, and I wouldn't say there are seasons as in the year. They're just seasons like last fall, September, October. I stumbled into a group of coaches that are working more with Clifton Strengths or Strengths Finders Assessment.
I saw that on your website.
Tools to do that, and they're like, well, let me walk you through it. And my best decisions I make slowly. So like I actually got coached through the process probably November 23 through February of 24. It wasn't until September that I said, okay, I've been letting this bubble around in my brain for 8 months. Yes, I want to join this group and get trained and start all that. And that's, so when I have something new I can get excited about, and it's just kind of bubbles up. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. They call it strengths alignment process. So it's a SAP. It doesn't sound like
all these cool acronyms.
So walking people through their strengths is it's fun, because I had actually a coach, instructor. I just reached out. I happened to reach out to her periodically. Just we keep in touch, and she said, "What's new?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing this, the strengths-based coaching, and I need to walk 10 people through this." She's like, "Great, how's that going? You got your 10?" I said, "I'm just starting." She says, "Well, you could coach me," and I'm like, "No way, seriously?" She said, "Yeah."
Wow.
She was giddy. She was like, "This is amazing." And she's been doing coaching and teaching coaching for years. She was just like, "This is fun. She said, "This is like counseling." I said, "Really?" And she said, "No, in a good way. This is like counseling. It's like therapy." Like, there you go. This is people getting to know what they do well. So part of the process that we go through, we read this little story about Donald Clifton was a psychologist in, I think, Nebraska.
Okay.
And he was on the Board of Education in Nebraska, had some of the lowest reading scores. So they're like, we're going to do an intervention. They took 10th graders. They did a baseline test, reading comprehension, a group at 90 words per minute, a group at 300 words per minute, kind of the two,
The two extremes?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said, all right, we're going to do an intervention. They did an intervention. Those 90 words per minute, they got them up to 150 words per minute. They're like, sweet. Okay, what about the 300 words per minute? 2,900 words per minute.
From 300 to 2,900?
Yep.
How the hell did they do that?
So that's when Dr. Clifton says, we need to stop worrying about what's wrong with people, figure out what's right with people, and help them lead with what they're good at. So that's the whole idea of Strengths Finders, is figure out what you're good at. Stop trying to put a hole in the dike of your weakness. Work at what you're good at.
I've heard this principle before. I didn't know it was Clifton, but I've heard, hey, your weaknesses, your weaknesses.
Yep.
Focus on your strengths.
Focus on your strengths, and this group, this tool that I use breaks it down into 3 buckets. It's always 3 or 5. Odd numbers are good. Even numbers are bad. Interior designers will tell you that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my wife's, she does
Feng Shui?
No, she does rubber stamping cards.
Yeah.
She makes greeting cards.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, it's got to be an odd number. Like, whatever. But 3 buckets. There's your signature strengths. They are who you are. You live and breathe them. They just exude from you.
Mm-hmm.
There's your auxiliary strengths. They're like tools on a tool belt. You can use them. You can use them super well, but you can't do it all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then there's I love it. They call them non-pattern. We don't like the word weak. Weakness is a bad word.
I'm with you. Totally with you.
Non-pattern. Those are the ones that you pay someone else to do or delegate, right?
Yes.
So yeah. So and the assessment. You take this assessment, and people like, I hate assessments. I've been told I don't like being put in a box. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's just you are who you are.
You have to share.
Would you like to know who you are or
right.
do you not? But it ranks you in 34. So everyone has 34 talents. We all have those same things.
Really?
But you're gonna get a big, like, okay, imagine that there's 34 cereals for breakfast, and
Mm-hmm.
Dad's gonna give you a big scoop of, Cheerios, but a little tiny bit of Rice Krispies and a little tiny bit of this, but that's what you got. So I have a big scoop of what's called input. I like to read and gain knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and have it available. And I was like, that sounds super self-absorbed. Until, I don't know when it was, I was talking about how I hated that being my number one strength. And then I was like, wait a minute, input. Like college, like medical school, residency, coach training, that's all input. Like taking a medical history, that's all input. Doing a physical exam, deeper input. And then coming up with a diagnosis and using my knowledge, that input, to make people healthier.
Mm-hmm.
So in coaching, there's a little twist. I like, okay, so I've got training, so that's input. I ask some, kind of opening questions. That's kind of like taking a history. But I'm going to get enough information to go, okay, Marcus, now we're going to go a little deeper with some diagnostic questions.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the questions that are going to, but you know what? I don't care about the answer to the diagnostic questions. Because in coaching, I don't make the diagnosis. In coaching, you make the diagnosis. So I ask those superficial questions to kind of get you comfortable, see where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go to those deeper questions, and you need to hear the answers. And it's so much fun when I say, so what I've heard so far is this, 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 this. Well, I didn't say that. Well, I'm pretty sure you did. I like one lady I coached, and in the first 5 minutes I said, wow, so I've heard at least 10 times anxiety, worried, fear, afraid. No, I didn't. Yeah. That I heard those words repeatedly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So it's just second nature to her?
But it was like, she's like, yeah, that's what we need to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, you got to ask some questions to get some thoughts percolating. But then, I just need to pay attention to, well, you said this off the cuff. What's that about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not important. Well, you said it. What do you mean it's not important? Wow. Is this one of those things where you don't want to go there? Yeah. Do we need to go there? Yeah. Okay, let's go there. Come on. I mean,
I can see how that could be fun.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. I mean,
yeah.
And even I try and, take that approach with health. It's like, okay, we're body, mind, soul. We got to take care of our body. We take care of our body by, eating right,
Mm-hmm.
exercise, sleeping right, stress management. Okay, that's the body. Now, how do we take care of our mind? Well, we got to eat right. Sounds familiar. We got to exercise.
Oh.
We got to sleep.
Yep.
We got to stress management. Wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. Our bodies and our minds work together. Soul, is a little more interesting. And how do you take care of your soul? And
I just, I had a patient go, you ready? You ready for this? I'm like,
I'm ready
yes,
now. Let's hear it.
bring it. I mean, that's, are you ready? Hey, I can't say I've heard everything, but I've heard a lot, and I'm always open to hear newer, it's like, what?
New adventures.
New adventures.
So is it, all right, so having said that, I know you kind of touched on how men who are getting to that retirement age were kind of like your trigger, but I guess for people who are watching or listening, who's the target? Who comes to Jim for help in repurposing themselves?
Right. I think two big things, and one or both, is people are underappreciated. They don't feel they're valued where they are. A lot of underneath that is they don't value themselves. They don't recognize their own value, but they certainly don't feel it. And I used to joke with my wife when she was a stay-at-home mom. She volunteered. Everyone at the school worshiped the ground she walked on because she volunteered. She showed up when others wouldn't. She would do whatever. She fed when the teachers had parent-teacher conference. It was always on a Thursday, and they'd be at school until 8:00 at night. She'd show up at 4:30, bunch of crock pots, organize a bunch of parents to bring in food so that teachers could eat and not have to worry about, they got fed between their conferences.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they loved her.
And of course, even the security guards and the custodians got fed and all that. And they all know Mrs. Heid. I said, just wait till you have a job. Why? I'm just wait. When you show up because you're paid, no one's there going, oh, Mary, it is just so amazing that you are here today. And yet we kind of want that. We want,
of course, that we want to be recognized. Yeah.
Oh, Marcus, I can't believe you showed up at work today. Thank you. It's amazing that you are here. So underappreciated professionals, and especially the higher up you go, the more, what is it?
The higher you go,
rolls uphill. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Poop rolls uphill.
Rolls uphill. Right. So the higher you are, the more of that. And the more responsibility. Yeah. So underappreciated and lack of direction. People like, I think doctors, we know that we wanted to do medicine, but where do we want our career to go? I don't know. We would take care of patients. That's what we do. No, that's part of what we do, but how do you make a vocation, a calling of that? So I'm sure I know that career very well. A lot of jobs, you just show up and you would just kind of expect it to there's going to be marching up. You're going to make more money. You're going to get more responsibility year after year after year. No, it doesn't just happen. You got to have a direction. You've got to have a purpose, a calling.
Yes.
I was talking today, so there's lots of different ways of explaining it, but there's ikigai. I always say it wrong. There's a Japanese term, but there's also I think the Franciscans in the Catholic Church. So there's talent, what you're good at. Right. Passion, what you love. Need, what people need. So if you're a philanthropist, that's a word easy to say. If you're a philanthropist or nonprofit, that's all you need. The ikigai, or whatever that is, I'm sorry, I'm butchering it, adds in what you can get paid for. So if you imagine 4 circles, how they overlap, what you're talented at, what you're passionate about, what people need, and what you can get paid for. That center spot, that's your calling.
That's tough, though, to figure that out. So you can help people figure that out?
Yes, because so the Clifton strengths. What are you good at? And
it can be so amazing because, like I said, I struggle with, as a coach, inputs about me, but it's supposed to be about the client, until I flipped it around. Like, yes, it's very much like being a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2 is activator. So I'm a go. You learn by doing. So all my friends gave me a hard time. Yeah, you're practicing medicine. You never really know what you're doing. You're just practicing. Yep.
I was going to actually bring that up. Like, why do they call it practice?
And that's what I'm doing at coaching. I'm practicing, and I'm gonna screw up. It's really hard. So, I do some in person. A lot of it's by Zoom. Some of it's by phone. Mm-hmm. When there's a deadpan silence on the other end, you're like, did that question just totally fall short? But I've learned to be comfortable in silence, which is really hard for me. Because that might come, like, mm-hmm. What? And then you just try again, you rephrase it. But more often what comes is,
yeah, they're reflecting, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, good. That was a good silent, not a bad silence.
That's right.
But yeah, so I learn by doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fun, and really the work should be on the client, but it also should be fun for them, because, like you said, it's a safe space. I think of it as a space that you can be confident mm-hmm. in your own ability. You can be vulnerable. You can say things that you're afraid to say in other places. Mm-hmm. And if you do all that really well, if I create that space and ask the right questions and just let you know I'm listening. I had a client early on was like, she wanted more of the mm-hmm or something that let her know I was there, and other people like, shh, just, I'm going to talk.
Yeah, just letting it out.
You don't need to be,
mm-hmm.
Bring it, brother, whatever. You don't need to be doing that. So but when that works well, the result is that the client gets advice they can believe and can follow, because you know what? The person they love the most just gave it to themselves.
That's right.
So, well, yeah, last session you said I should be doing this.
Sure about that?
Are you sure? Because I try and really avoid, especially words like should or mm-hmm. this, that, the other. But I seem to remember you found it important to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, it sounds like it could be any age person.
Yes.
In any chapter of their life.
Right.
That could pay you a visit.
Oh, absolutely. I did kind of an intro session with a 19-year-old. And it was funny because, her mom was like, yeah, she needs to do these strength things. And I was like, cool. And we did, and I always, free half-hour call.
Yeah, you got to do the free consults, right?
Well, you got to, no one knows what coaching is. And there's a lot of people calling what they do coaching, and it's really more consulting or mm-hmm. telling you stuff. But she was great. She really explored, and I don't know, we talked for 20 minutes and I didn't hear anything more. And I reached out to her mom, and she's like, no, that was really helpful. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have the time, doesn't feel the need to go through. I'm like, well, that's cool, so yeah, maybe a quick call is all you need.
Yeah.
I jokingly say, Gen X, because mm-hmm. why Gen X? Because the millennials haven't made enough mistakes. The 20, and it's nothing about the generation, but when you're 20 and 30, you know everything. So-
I remember.
I just say, you probably got to be in your 40s because you unfortunately, although I put something out on LinkedIn. I said, come on, I'm challenging any of you under 40. Take me up on this. And I forgot that I didn't realize how young this one lady was that I walked through her strengths. She's like, come on, Jim. I thought it was amazing. And I'm like, oh, you're in the young. I'm like, okay, called me out. Yes. So 30-year-olds can do it. 20-year-olds can do it. But, a lot of times we all have to make a certain number of mistakes before we think, all right, it's time to be more serious about this.
Okay. So mistakes are a big factor. That's interesting. So mistakes as in you've been living your life a certain way or living aspects of your life a certain way and it's finally hitting you in a negative fashion or?
Yeah, I think, hey, if you started off at 20 and at 35, you are spot on. You don't need coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't make mistakes and you're living the dream. Sweet. But at 20, you may just not know what's going to work, what isn't going to work. And maybe mistakes is the wrong word. It's just learning opportunities, shoot.
So if I'm 20 years old, right, and I'm like, I remember feeling this way when I was young. What am I supposed to do? I don't know what I want to do. Everybody says you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. I have no idea what I want to do in life. So is that, what if a kid came to you like that? Would you accept them as a client?
I think it'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would, I'm not 100% convinced that, I don't think that client would get as much as a 40-year-old client would.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
But okay, so here's the deal. Let's say that 20-year-old who works with me and is serious about it and does the work, and they say 80% of the progress is made between sessions.
Mm-hmm.
That only happens if the client is doing some serious work between sessions.
Right.
You can't just show up. It's like PT. If you go to PT, they're going to give you some exercises to do. If you don't do those and you show up 2 weeks later, what you've been doing? Nothing. Well, then we can't progress because you haven't been
got to do your part.
Right. You got to do your part. But I think if a 20-year-old showed up, let's say where they would be at 35, they might be there at 30 because they may need to repeat it at 30, but rather than repeating it or doing it for the first time at 35, they've accelerated their learning curve. Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Touch up whether that's massage, physical therapy, treatments, a lot of, touch up stuff or counseling. Same thing with coaching. It's like, hey, let's do this. Let's get you where you want to be. I'll touch base in 6 months, see what's going on. Hey, let's do a one-off session just to kind of, there's more stuff we can work on. Great. Let's
Cool.
set up another package. But
so you're flexible. I get it. You're totally flexible.
Yeah.
So you brought this up earlier, saying that a lot of people call what they do coaching when it's not really coaching. And when I was looking at your background and what you do and everything and what you've done, I was even thinking to myself, you kind of have an advantage in the coaching world, and you could probably not. That's the wrong way to put it. You have an advantage with your experience, I would say, being in the medical field and then being able to coach people. I think you could call it something else. Have you thought about that?
What would I call it?
I don't know. I just feel like I feel like with what you've done and what you've accomplished, and then and you explaining to me more how you're kind of giving people that safe space and you pull it out of them and it's them doing the work. It's them. Coaching is that?
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, I know there's a group called the Navigators, but I'm a kind of, and I joke, I say, if I could put both under one hat, I'm a life navigator. I navigate people to have a healthier life through my
medicine, and I help people have a more fulfilling life
Mm-hmm.
through coaching. So yeah, the captain relies on the navigator, but the captain's the one that
makes the decisions.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, yeah, I mean, they talk about, well, it's bad coaching. It's like, well, you're the one that made the decision, not remember.
Yeah, what's bad coaching? Yeah.
I didn't make that decision. But no, like I said, in that, I think, the teenage years of my coaching, which I'm getting out of, I think there was some bad you focus on the bad coaching is when I focus on the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You never coach a problem. You coach a person that has a problem or a difficulty they're working with.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I get super curious about the problem, because I want to know about that, because I want to, really, so this is your problem, and how are you going to fix this problem? And we just get into the weeds of the problem.
Too far into that,
then it's like, well, that was a lot of work on both of our parts for spinning a lot of wheels. So,
okay, yeah, that's not good.
Do over.
So you got past that point.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Past that point to just, all right. Yeah, and then they're like, some clients get frustrated. I want answers. Okay. Let's do open heart surgery. Let's cut you open and get those answers out. Because
have you done open heart surgery?
No.
Oh.
Well, oh gosh. I mean, I assisted back in medical school. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, the freaky stuff is the pediatric cardiac surgery.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine
that was
pressure. Oh man. Was that Ben Carson that separated?
He was a pediatric neurosurgeon. Yeah,
Holy moly.
He got famous for separating conjoint twins, and
they were at the conjoint at the head. Holy moly, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Because I was messing with something the other day. I was like, I had to have a finesse to put something together, and it was like my hands were shaking just from that. So I'm like imagining.
Yeah, no, yeah, right.
My God.
You can't.
But we got AI coming down. It's here, right?
Yeah.
Is that? Are you keeping up with that in the medical field at all?
No, not in the medical field. I'm actually a group of coaches. We've formed a little consortium where we're going to learn AI together.
Nice.
Just because
you should.
You gotta.
You should.
And I'm just like, so it's funny, I don't know why, but when I ask Chat GPT, like I throw a phrase, or a paragraph in there, it always comes out with superlatives and flowery language. I'm like, and finally someone said, you can.
Yeah, you trained it.
I've never trained it. I've just asked,
okay.
And they said you can train it. You can tell it. Like, I think I said less superlatives and flowery language, and it was the exact. It was like, like okay, wow, you went from one extreme to the other. Can we? But that's So some coaches are very. Some coaches are on the health front. They want to help you be healthier. That's just maybe too similar to medicine, but that's just not my not my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Some are real touchy-feely, manifest, all this, and that works for some people, and that's great. But again, that's just not me. And so that's what I've really had to struggle with, like in creating the webpage. The content creator I was working with was all like, I just threw up a little in my mouth as I read this. No. I'm a kick your butt kind of, let's, you can do this, but we need to get past some of those limiting beliefs. Those limiting beliefs are, they're the voices in your head that come from, sure, so a question you didn't ask, but coaching versus counseling, and because I'm thinking of that because it's like, well, limiting beliefs come from the voices that you heard growing up, the life experiences. But one school I've taken some courses through, they really say, counseling, therapy, whatever you want to call it, is more about when there's a wound, a healing that needs to take place. Coaching is taking someone from a stable place to a better place, a better version of you.
Sounds like to me, it's more emotional, the counseling /
Yeah, but coaching can be somewhat emotional, or at least, you're getting past some of those voices, and that's the, those are the places that people don't want to go, is like, so you're saying this, and that's when I ask the question, so, here's a question from what you just said, and that's when they're like, well, I don't think I want to go there. Well, you went there, so no. It's
too late.
I again, the client's always right, so it's like, okay, well, do we need to go there? You said you didn't think you wanted to go there, but we're there. Do we need to explore this, or are we going somewhere else? You're the boss. And I've had clients, nope, we're not going there. Okay, where are we going? Okay, well, we're going here. All right, let's redirect. And yeah, sometimes you offer something up and clients are like, I didn't say that. Okay. And sometimes, it's not always amazing. Every coaching session,
of course not.
You don't walk away. Just
Nothing's always amazing.
I'm now on cloud 9.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have any? Have you had any clients that they were successful in whatever it is that they were looking for when they came to you?
Oh yeah. So I did, it was kind of funny, 2021, there was a urologist reached out on LinkedIn and said, hey, you're a doc and a coach. I want to open up this thing coaching doctors. So it was just drop in one session, free, doctors coaching doctors. And some of them were the most frustrating clients, and some of them were like, I had one lady, she was like, that was amazing. And it's just a 1 hour session. It's just okay. Able to get kind of, because COVID and this, that, and the other, and everything was blowing up. So that's always fun, and again, if you can help people, and then
the coaches, it was doctors coaching doctors. So it was one guy who organized it.
It was a lady, a urologist down in, I think she's in the LA area. Yeah, she just created this. She created a website, and she ended up with by the end she had 30, 35 coaches that were all docs, and there was if you went, there was you never knew who you was going to be coaching you. It was just like, here's open slots. I pick a slot, and then I would get an email with your, we would have a Zoom meeting, and I'd have an email with your contact information in case you didn't show up or whatever. And then we would just, sometimes I did it by phone if, people like, hey, I'm in my car driving to work, don't want to do Zoom, whatever. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. Or some were residents, like, okay, we're finishing up residency, and I'm an OBGYN and my husband's a surgeon, and we want to figure out where do we fit together, and
all right, let's, what are your important.
Man, that sounds like, from your perspective, I'm putting myself in your perspective, that sounds intimidating. Like, you have these, they want to together figure out where they're going to go together. How do you navigate that?
I mean, let's break it down. Let's, you guys got to do the hard work. But really what I ended up doing was, what are the metrics? What's important? What's going to be important 5-10 years from now? Well, we want to be close to family, or we want to be, within flying distance from family, because we're going to start our family and we want the okay, so geography is important because of that. What other factors are important? And, and then you just write these down and put them into an Excel spreadsheet and rate each factor as, is that triple weight, a single weight, double weight, come up with a scheme. But the coaching session is about what are the things you need to put on the Excel spreadsheet. And then, so what's important? Is income important, or is that, does that not matter? You said location, style of practice. What are things that are really, again, so you just make talent? Where's your talent? Where's your passion?
Yeah, you make them, so you made them, and you've been saying this the whole time, you make them face themselves, answer their own questions, ask their own questions, so to speak. You just kind of create that little spark. You said talents again, and it just made me remember, did you say we all have a specific number of talents earlier? So how does that work?
So, all right, so this is what, Donald Clifton, after he did this reading experiment, if you read the write-up on the web and in the books, he interviewed 2 million people. He did not. He was a professor. He had grad students and undergrads. But they interviewed like 2 million plus people.
That's a lot of people.
They came up with this theory. They created a questionnaire that was able to rank these things, and they spent, a couple of decades creating this, validating it, scientifically proven. If you take it again 10, 20 years later, you're going to have a little bit of shifting, but not major shifts. You're going to pretty much be the same. And that's where they said, hey, this is, if it's the same over time, we've really got this. So there's 34 talents. My ranking is different than anyone else's. And then it's funny because they call them talents, but it's called Clifton Strengths. So what's the difference? Well, a talent is an innate gifting, given to you by the Creator, by evolution, whatever you believe
floats
in.
your boat.
You have been given a certain rank of all 34, certain helping of them. Those ones that are up top, you can, with practice and intention, learn how to get reproducibly positive results. That's then a strength. So you take your talent, you apply it, you practice it, you get better at it, and you can turn it into a strength that is usable for reproducibly good results. So that's where I think that's the what are you good at? Then out of that, what are you passionate about? I wish I could find the book. I still need to email one of my instructors. I remember in one of the classes I took on strengths, I'm pretty sure her name was Debbie, and she was promoted, but in the promotion, she went to sales. She's not a salesperson. So she was getting coaching on her strength, and their coach, basically said, okay, well, learner is one of your top strengths. So what do you do with learner? Well, I learn a lot, and I learn about companies, and I educate. Okay. So what she came up with was, we have this product, we interact with companies, I learn about them, I learn what they do well, I learn what they don't do well. And by the way, these 3 things you don't do well, we have a couple of products that can help you do those better. she tripled their sales, not by being salesy, but by being a learner, by
Absolutely.
walking in her strength, saying, I can help you figure out what you do well. I can help you figure out what you don't do well. And there's a possibility those things you don't do well, we got something that can help you.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
So figuring out how you can use your strength in where you are. And that's the thing. It's like, do I need a new job? Well, you need to figure out you first. You need to figure out you and how to be the best version of you. And then what are you passionate about? And look, now do you see where you can apply yourself in your job without changing jobs? Because I heard something, and I need to find the source, the receipts. It's a new. I'm trying to get.
I know with the lingo. I know
receipts.
I know.
But so your entry-level worker, to replace them costs 50% of the annual salary. Mid-level, 100%. Executives, 300%.
Yep.
Doctors, 300%.
It's crazy.
If you are having a lot of turnover, that's costing you a lot of money.
Absolutely.
So how do we help you and your executive team and even your management, your middle management? How do we figure out what their talents are, where their passion is, how to align that with what you're doing so that you don't need to retrain a whole bunch of new people. You just reoriented and realigned a whole bunch of people with your mission that you already have. That's the goal. That's the sweet spot.
Okay. So would you work in a situation like that with the executives of a company?
That would be awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
So we have a process that everyone goes through the individual strengths coaching, which is 5 hours and people freak out.
Over time,
I know what
right?
I mean. 5 1-hour sessions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you could not. I would not.
There's nothing I'd sit for 5 hours for.
No, and it wouldn't be as impactful for you.
Of course
if
not.
we tried to do it
Of course not.
all at once. But so yeah, let's say a team of 8, you go take all of them through the strengths alignment process, and then there is a day of debriefing of, okay, these are the talents, these are how you develop them. How do you work together? There's also something called the window of tolerance. This is what I was talking about with Dominica.
Okay.
So there's a window of tolerance, and you can either get outside that by going agitated, hyperactive, or withdrawn. I say, you can either put on the boxing gloves and be ready to duke it out, fight or flight. Or you can withdraw, and to me, I'm going back into the late 90s, early 2000s, the emo, the person who's wearing a black or gray hoodie.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all you see. That's the withdrawn. And when you go there, you're not in your window of tolerance. You're not on your game. You're not on your A game. So there are tools to get you back in. I tend to be more of you might guess I'm more of the
boxer.
The boxer. There's something called box breathing, and it's
I've heard of box breathing. It's from the military, right?
So a lot of people use it in different, and there's different variants, and I say you got to try it. But the standard, the starting is breathe in to a count of 4, hold it in to a count of 4, breathe out to a count of 4, hold out to a count of 4. So it's a box. For me, I breathe out slower, and I don't like holding out, so I do in to a count of whatever, hold to a count of something, and then so I know this. I've played around with it. It's like, okay, well, I don't know, several months ago now. Not that I would ever have any kind of
disagreement with my spouse.
Oh, yeah.
But
Of course not.
hypothetically, something didn't go well, and I knew I needed to go to bed and just leave it alone, but I couldn't because I'm pissed and I can't sleep. And I want to go in and unload with
Of course.
both barrels into the kitchen.
Of course.
But that's not going to go well. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to lay here ticked off and not sleep. Oh yeah, there's that box breathing thing. So I started doing it. And I actually got so slow, I was taking like one breath about every 45 seconds. I actually got my phone out and I was like, I timed myself. It was like 2 minutes and 25 seconds for 3 breaths. And I was like, wow.
You had that much.
I just kept going slower. Every breath I went slower. The next breath I went slower. And then I timed myself. I'm like, that's really slow. I put my phone on the nightstand. I turned over, and the next thing, my alarm was going off. I passed out. I went from being just livid, tight. And I, you get to know yourself if you're willing to explore.
Of course.
I was talking about this morning with Kim, that I can be passionate and emphatic, which I talk loud, I talk fast, I talk over people, I talk with my hands and
Guilty.
Okay. So I could be doing that when I'm passionate. When I'm angry, I talk loud, I talk over people, I talk faster, and I talk with my hands. And I realized my wife was like, "You're angry." I'm like, "No, I'm just on fire." But on the outside, it looks the same, whether I'm on fire or pissed. On the inside, on fire is I'm open, I'm tall. The world is my, olive or
your
whatever.
oyster. Yeah.
Oyster.
Yeah.
There we go. When I'm pissed, it's all small. It's tight. It's hunched. So I know if I'm angry or I'm on top of the world. But even my wife is like, "You're angry." I'm like, "No, I am just passionate. This has got me going."
That's interesting.
So yeah. So I mean, but to go from that to just tight and to just like, okay, I'm going to sleep. That was, oh my gosh. And that was the night, it was a Thursday night because Friday mornings we have our tribe meetings with this coaching group. And they're like, "Hey, so they always say celebrate some success." And I said, I tried the box breathing last night when I was just ticked off, was not going to go to sleep. It was not going to work. And in 5 minutes, I was passed out.
Okay. So for all the kiddos out there, try box breathing.
Yes. Don't punch things. Yeah. But for those people that go withdrawn, you need to re-engage. And so re-engage your senses. This was what blew Domenica's mind. I said, so, okay, simple as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things I can see right now. 4 things I can touch. 3 things I can hear. 2 things I can smell. 1 thing I can taste. And but you do it slowly. You engage your senses. You appreciate the input your senses give you. And that brings you back into your window of tolerance.
I do that whenever I go to nature.
Yeah.
That's when I do it without, I'm conscious of it because I know I do it. But
there's a pine tree there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I see? Look at everything out here. Oh, I can feel the air.
Right.
I can smell the water. Yeah. And it's, you totally get re-engaged back with reality.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, there are things that you can do. You just have to realize that you're not, the key thing is you have to realize when you're not in your
That's
window
the key,
of tolerance.
is recognizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm not pissed off. What do you mean? I have never been calmer in all my life. Wait a minute.
So this is kind of a goofy question. When you started going down the path to coaching, Have you ever gone back into your memory of a favorite coach in your youth or in your life in general? Like just any kind of coach, whether it's sports or whatever, or a coach figure or a mentor?
You know, it's funny as you say that. One of the most memorable things, and it was a very simple thing, but as a family doc, you know, jack of all trades, master of none.
Sure.
You admit patients to the hospital. You're frequently calling specialists to consult.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I don't remember this guy's name, and it was different state, but I remember 2 a.m. got something with some type of gastrointestinal, I think, bleeding or some kind of issue. And I'm in the ER 2 a.m. trying to, you know, deal with all this. And I called up the specialist and I say, okay, this is the story. This is what I find on exam. These are the labs, blah. Well, you know, Jim, the most likely diagnosis are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know that. You know that you've got these labs, but you got to order these 3, 4 other tests. And then once you've got that, then, you know, once you've got those results, that's going to wean down what the possibilities are. Do you need me to come in and see the patient right now? Or are you good if I come in, you know, at 6 a.m. when everything's dialed in? You just made me feel like the smartest doctor on the face of the earth. You just told me that I knew what I didn't know, and you gave me what I needed. You just told me that I knew that I needed to order these extra labs, which I didn't, but you told me in a way that affirmed me.
Yeah.
You have instilled confidence in me, and as a result, you get the bonus of sleeping tonight because you have instilled enough confidence in me that this guy's not going to crump between now and 6 a.m. when you want to come in and see him. So you can go to sleep, I can go to sleep, and we can get this guy taken care of.
Wow.
As opposed to, why are you calling me about this? Well, you're a cardiologist, and this is a guy with chest pain, and this is what's going on. Well, it sounds like I remember, you know, and so docs are mentors. I mean, that's the Hippocratic Oath says. Part of it is, I will hold this craft dear. I will appreciate my teachers, and I will teach others. So, yeah, I remember a cardiologist, this way back in residency. This guy came in. It's like not a great story. You want to have a not a great story when you're having a heart attack. It didn't sound very convincing, which is a good thing, but we're going to get him on a treadmill and stress his heart. And right before we were going to wheel him down, and the cardiologist is already down at the treadmill in the lab. And they come and get me. He's having chest pain. I walk in, and this guy's pale, sweaty, pressure on my chest, blah, blah, blah. So I ordered a stat EKG, and we're waiting for all this, and the cardiologist is calling, why isn't he down on the treadmill? Because he's having chest pain, and Dr. Heid ordered another EKG. So he's coming upstairs hot as can be. This is not cardiac, blah, 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 blah. I'm pulling the EKG off the machine as he's coming in, ripping me a new one. And I'm like, he's having an acute MI. He's having a heart attack right now.
That's myocardial infarction. Oh, I can't believe I guessed that.
Boom. Yeah. So, yes, the story, here's the deal. The story changed in 10 minutes from, this doesn't sound like a heart attack to, crap, you look like doo-doo, and you look like you're having a heart attack, and guess what? You are. So we changed the plan. Yeah. He's not going on the treadmill. He's going to the ICU.
Yeah.
You know? So, those two, it's like you're a dumb family doc. I know more than you. Or, you know what? You are my colleague, and I'm going to treat you as if
you know things. Those are the difference.
Well, and then we're talking about coaches, right? Those are the best coaches,
right?
The ones that instill in you that confidence you talked about, and that trust that you're gonna hear what they're saying, and you're gonna trust that you can get there.
Right.
Well,
right, and that's the thing. Some of my clients they're really struggling with identity and all those limiting beliefs and why they can't. It's like, okay, I've coached docs, not all docs, but I'm coaching this one doc. It's like, so help me with a few things. So, did you graduate medical school? Yeah. Okay. Did you do a residency training? Yeah. Okay. So you've worked in various places? Yeah. Okay. So several people thought you knew stuff, you passed criteria, you've impressed upon people. You tell me about, you were at this party and some bigwig who you don't know knows your name from some off, she's involved in advocacy. He knows you, or he knows of you, and is impressed because he knows of you. Why aren't you impressed with yourself?
Man, that's deep. Yeah, that's deep.
But it's hard. It's hard to get over those.
Well, you mentioned the imposter syndrome at the beginning, and I've kind of read about it, and I know a little bit about it. But can you explain kind of like your perspective on what that is?
I mean, we are all insecure, and imposter syndrome is kind of like, I don't belong here, and if they only knew X, they. I don't belong at ThriveCon. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not building a big business. I don't have, 12-figure income, whatever. If they only knew that, whatever, then they wouldn't want me here.
Right.
But it's funny. I read and listen about, I don't know, 50-50, 60-40. I probably read a little more than I listen to books, but listened to one on the imposter syndrome, and it was like, well, I'm only here because I went to this college versus I'm only here because of people I know. If I didn't know those people, I would have had to gone to college, and it's like these two people both feel they don't belong, right? Because they don't have what the other person has. But they have what they have, and they don't see it.
That's crazy,
right? I mean, it's an insecurity. It's a fear that I call it the fear of being found out. So they're going to find out. They're going to kick me out. But it's just that insecurity. Lady Gaga. I live for the applause. Everything in the past doesn't matter. All her success doesn't matter. At the end of the song, she needs to hear the applause. And if not, none of that ever counted, ever. That's imposter syndrome.
Okay. Man, so that sounds like a huge, that sounds like a deep psychological problem.
It's just, I think it's just so natural. We're just, and especially in the social media age where everyone puts their airbrush. But I'm thinking of Sharon, the lady who burnt this is 5+ years ago now. She burnt a Marie Callender pumpkin pie. And then she posted just the complete opposite. People usually post their great life.
Yeah.
She posted this burnt pie and said, "Thanks, Marie Callender, for ruining my Thanksgiving." Even though she had burnt it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, yeah, well, she obviously doesn't have imposter syndrome. But, we're comparing ourselves to the airbrush
Constantly.
pictures.
When you put it like that.
I mean, you
Absolutely.
got a nice bald head. I'm losing it, but it's not, I don't think I should shave it.
No.
But I can't
Don't
grow
shave it. It looks good.
I can't grow it. It's just, and it's getting thinner.
Listen,
and
as
thinner.
a bald man, hold on to it. Hold on to it.
So, it's like.
So you think a lot of people have a tad bit of imposter syndrome?
Yeah, and it was funny. Initially, this was described, I think, 70s or 80s, and it was women. Women have this, and then I think it was like late 80s or 90s. They're like, well, let's change this around. Let's change our questions a bit. Let's cast the net wider. Oh, look at that. Men have imposter syndrome too. Like, no, duh. Women are not the only ones who are insecure.
Right.
I mean,
right.
come on.
I would even go so far as to say men are more insecure because we have to impress women too.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I see it anyway.
Nah, don't have to impress them.
We don't?
That's an impossible job. I mean, no.
You know what? You're right. You're right. It is impossible. You just gotta connect on some level somehow, and that's it.
And we all, I mean, most of us do connect on some level with a person, and it's interesting to see who pairs with who and why. I love telling the story. My wife thought I was a bum when she first met me, and I don't think I knew this until after we were married.
Yeah.
She said, "I thought you were a bum when I first met you." And we both remember the very first time we were hanging out in a church group together. And there were several churches in San Diego that kind of would do communal events.
Yeah.
And on one of these events, she remembers me introducing myself. Hi, I'm Jim. It says, introduce yourself in a single sentence. Hi, I'm Jim Heid, perpetual student. That's all I said. I'm thinking,
that was so cool.
College, medical school, residency.
Yeah.
I'm going to always be a student. She heard I'm taking one college class at community college. I live in my parents' basement and I'm never going to graduate college. That's what she heard.
It's all about perspective, baby.
I'm like, wow.
Well, now we got to know, how did you turn that around and end up, do you know maybe? Did she tell you that?
So it was a funny, it's a silly story because that would have been July of 1 year.
Okay.
Fast forward 15 months. We're at a Halloween dance. I am a mummy because I worked in a hospital. I had all these
the gauze and all that.
Just a bunch of gauze bandage wraps. So I show up, San Diego. It's fairly warm. I got shorts on and then I just wrapped myself. And I wrapped myself all over. And I showed up. No one knew who I was, so I kept quiet because women would come over and give me attention and give me hugs. Mysterious. So I was like, and then I hear this, I think that's Jim Heid. My wife knew who I was because of the way I hugged. I'm like, what? How do I hug? And she says, evidently I go out before I come in, or something like that. I'm like, so you'd known me for a year, peripherally. You knew how I hugged, but you weren't checking me out. I was not checking you out. Okay, but you knew how I hugged. Yes, but I was not checking you out.
Interesting.
So of all the people there, she knew who I was. So I'm like, well, let's go on the dance floor. And we danced for 4 hours.
Dance the night away.
Yep.
Holy moly. Yeah, she was checking you out. I'm on your side.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm on your side. Because she was reading your body language.
She was,
absolutely.
But I was just like, that's funny. Of all the people, I mean, of all the women there, she was the only one. And I'm like, okay, now I can talk because everyone knows who I am.
She's the one.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was
it was an interesting night though, because as the more I danced, the more everything unraveled. And at the end of the night, I was a bit cold walking like 3 or 4 blocks to my car in just my shorts because everything else had come off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Yeah.
So we brought up connection. So I have to ask you the question I ask everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of putting you on the spot. I apologize. How does Jim define connection when it comes to like, humans, I guess you'd say?
Wow. Okay.
What's your definition of it?
I think we're body, mind, soul. So connection has nothing to do with the physical. The physical might get you to pay attention.
Sure.
But it is just that start talking, and I think it's when a connection happens when, as I say something, you say something, and the banter keeps going, and it grows into something. Then there's a connection. If there's just you say something, I say something, awkward silence.
Yeah, there's no listening.
I say something, you say something. Even if there's listening, it's just there's no symbiosis in what we're saying. Then it's just kind of like, okay, if I'm at a party, and I'm trying to talk to you, and that's happening, you're gonna
absolutely.
Or what's even better is when Joe comes in and you have a connection with Joe and I have a connection with Joe, and somehow with Joe there, you and I build a connection that was just not happening. That's beautiful. That's
we've all experienced that.
That's community, right? It's like, I don't know this Sue person, blah blah blah. Well, but Sue does this and this, and okay, well, when you are, C.S. Lewis wrote, he was describing the death. He was in it's called the Inklings. There was a group of 4 or 5 writers at Oxford in England. It was him and J.R.R. Tolkien and some other people. And one of them died. And he wrote in one of his books, he said, when Bob died, I didn't just lose Bob. I lost the part of Marcus that Bob could see and tell me about that I don't see. And I lost the part of Sue that Bob could see that I don't see. And so that's connected.
To pick up on that.
Right.
Man, that is so brilliant.
Yeah. So, I love C.S. Lewis, love Tolkien, my 2 favorite authors.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. Connection doesn't necessarily have to, kind of the way I'm seeing, the way you explained it, it doesn't necessarily have to happen in the way that you expect it to, or that you want it to happen.
Right.
It can happen in an unexpected way, just because of, like you said, a communal factor.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, we've probably gone for more than an hour. We've had a great conversation.
Had a good conversation.
How would someone who is in need of your services, how would you like for them to contact you? How would they find you?
Yeah, repurposementllc.com. LLC is for life and leadership coaching, but Repurposement, you can probably just Google Repurposement Coaching or Jim Heid Coaching. And my Calendly is on there if you want to actually schedule. I'll meet with anyone for 30 minutes, so we can, if you're local, grab coffee or an adult beverage. I mean,
nice.
Whatever. My email's on there, and
we'll put it on the screen for you too.
Love to chat and just explore. I think even if this is just something that gets people thinking about what do they need to be thinking about? as you know, it's hard to grow business. There have been
Absolutely.
times where it's like, okay, what is this going to go anywhere? And the answer that keeps me going more than anything is, even if I don't coach anyone else, well, that's not necessarily true. Even if I don't help anyone else while I'm coaching, I learned so much about me.
Mm-hmm.
I have become a very different person because I've studied coaching, being coached, and I practice coaching on myself.
It's like it comes full circle.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I mean, even if I just got you thinking about what you need to be thinking about, that's awesome.
I love it. And with that, thank you, Jim.
All right.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah. Take care.
Yes, sir. You too.